Hello and welcome to another exciting examples video, this time on multiplying and dividing fractions. So in our first example we are asked, what is 2/5 of 5? Well, this is the same as splitting something into 5 pieces and then taking 2 of those pieces. What proportion of the total am I taking? Now if you watched my decimals video, we know that 2 over 5 is the same as 0.4. And we also know that 0.4 is the same as 40%. So it might make more sense to you if I ask, what is 40% of 5? I would expect a number less than half of 5, so maybe something like 2. Now, what we're actually doing quickly in our heads is multiplying 40% by 5. And if you do that in fractional form, it looks like this, 2 over 5 times 5 over 1. And if we multiply across, we get 10 over 5, which reduces down to 2 over 1. Alright, so here's the next example. We have 14 over 9 times 3 over 4. Now we can multiply across, so 14 times 3, that would be 42, divided by 9 times 4, which is 36. If I divide both by 2, I would get 21 over 18. And then if I try and divide both the top and bottom by 3, I would get 7 over 6. And I can't reduce any further, so this would be my final answer. You can also try and simplify the fractions before you start multiplying. And to do that, it's the same thing as trying to reduce a fraction. You're trying to find a number that will divide into a top number and bottom number evenly. So for example, I see a 3 on top and a 9 on bottom. And both of those numbers are divisible by 3. So I'll go ahead and do that. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. And 9 divided by 3 becomes 3. And then I see if I can find another number that will go into a top and bottom number evenly, which I do. So I see 14 and 4. Both of those are divisible by 2. So if I do 14 divided by 2, I get 7. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. And now I have a new set of fractions here that have been simplified. So I get 7 over 3 times 1 over 2. And now if I do my multiplication, I get 7 times 1, which is 7, divided by 3 times 2, which is 6. And you can see we got to the same answer, but since I simplified up front, I didn't have to reduce later. Here's an example where you must simplify the fractions first before you multiply. Otherwise, the numbers get a little bit large and difficult to manage. So again, we look for a number that will divide evenly into a top number and bottom number. So I see 430. I know both of these are divisible by 10. So if I do 400 divided by 10, that gives me 40. And 30 divided by 10 is 3. And I also see that 27 and 81 are both divisible by 9. So this becomes 3 and this becomes 9. And at this point, I see, okay, 3 and 9, those are both divisible by 3 again. So if I do that, this becomes 1, and this becomes 3. So now I have 40 over 3 times 1 over 3, which is, if I multiply across, that's 40 divided by 9. And I cannot reduce this any further, so that's my final answer. And if I did not simplify these fractions up front, then I would not have been able to get to 40 over 9 so quickly and easily. Here's a word problem. I'll pause and let you read the question first. Alright, so Mary worked 7 3/4 of an hour. Another way to write that would be 7 3/4, which is a mixed number. And if you saw my mixed numbers video, you know that you can convert this mixed number into an improper fraction. So let's do that here. We have 7 times 4 plus 3. That would give us 31, and we keep the denominator of 4. So Mary worked 31/4 hours, and her hourly rate is $8 per hour. So we have to multiply this by 8/1. And we see if we can simplify, which we can. 4 and 8 are both divisible by 4. So this becomes 1, and this will become 2. And then we get 31 times 2 is 62 over 1 times 1 is 1. So this is simply $62. So this last example will have a division component, but if you remember, division is not too different than multiplying. You just have to remember to flip the fraction. Now, when you have 3 fractions like this, I like to break it up and just focus on the first 2. So if we have 15/7 times 21/35, I can see that 7 and 21 are both divisible by 7. So we cancel that out and we get 1, and 21 divided by 7 is 3. And then I also see that 15 and 35 are both divisible by 5. So we get 3 here, and we get a 7 here. So these 2 fractions then end up as 3/1 times 3/7, which is 9/7. And then we have this last component. So this is 9/7 divided by 2 3/14. And if we convert this mixed number to an improper fraction again, this actually becomes 28 plus 3, so that's 31/14. So we will have 9/7 divided by 31/14. And if you remember, when we divide, whatever we're dividing by, you have to flip the fraction and multiply. So this would be 9/7 times 14/31. And again, I see that 7 and 14 both divisible by 7. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. This is 2. And we can't simplify any further, so we have 9 times 2 is 18. And 1 times 31 is 31. And so our final answer here is 18/31.